Herbivore. Herbivore.
Good morning. How are we doing? Do you like my lazy panda? He really knows how to live. He's chilling the F out like an Eskimo, eating bamboo. Laid back. Tuchel, you are first. You win the internet for today. I'm watching you destroy Dr. Mike. Why are you not vegan? For unethical, unhealthy or unenvironmental reasons. Thank you. I had a lot of fun with that one, which was quite easy because he's a very silly boy. Let's get comfy. Hexproof Anarchist, good to see you. Zal Naga. Jeff, hey Hench, good to see you. What are the best sources of folate? Foliage, leaves. Also, it's in a lot of other stuff as well, legumes and stuff. It's pretty ubiquitous. Let me have a look. I often refer to this plan that I wrote on the 1st of June 2018 for a female on a low amount of calories. No effort to get... Oh, I need to sort this camera out, didn't I? No effort to particularly get folate. And she had 218% of her RDA for folate, 874 micrograms. Biggest contributors, 2/3 of a can of lentils was 72% of her RDA. So she'd have eaten a can of lentils, that would have been her folate for the day. Spinach, as I say, leafy greens. Don't know if there was 100 grams there, but that was half of her RDA. Grains as well, so quinoa, and then kale was the next biggest contributor. Super easy, real non-issue is folate. What are your thoughts on Dr. Eric Berg saying he drinks 2 to 3 cups of water per day because too much can flush nutrients? I think he's a complete bellend. A complete bellend. It depends how much produce you're eating. But for most people, that would not be great. Like, your organs need to be well hydrated. You need to be hydrated to be energized. Your muscles should be 70% water. If you're drinking 2 or 3 cups as a grown-ass man, you're probably not reaching that. Particularly because he's not a whole foods vegan, is he? I think, is he like a paleo bellend? He seems like one. Yeah, that's complete nonsense. Utter complete nonsense, not grounded in any kind of science whatsoever. A bit like the keto diet. White Eye, do you believe the government cares about its people? I think politicians are probably a mixed bag, or are they just trying to separate us and stop us from evolving and becoming our best self? I think politicians are a mixed bag. I think power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. And, I'm sure there's some good people. I saw the president of one country, can't remember if it was Yugoslavia. Is that even a country? That doesn't even sound like a country to me now. And he was like driving a Skoda, and he looks like a tramp. And he said, if my people are suffering and are poor, like, why should I be doing any better? And he chooses to like drive a Skoda. So, I think, you can't make a blanket statement, but I think government in general, there's the sort of veil of trying to do like the greatest good, but it never is. It's always like serving rich people more and feathering their own nests. But yeah, I'm sure there's the odd person in government who is in it for the right reasons. Dr. Salish Rao, he was behind a lot of the facts and figures on cowspiracy. He was working with Al Gore, and he eventually had to leave. And he said, they were just not speaking to the fact that animal agriculture is the number 1 cause of climate change. They were trying to tackle climate change, but just talking about fossil fuels and things. So, so I think Dr. Salish Rao, he's not involved in politics now. He's just trying to save the planet. So, yeah, mixed bag at best. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that certain drugs, alcohol, caffeine, cigarettes are legal, stuff they can make money off, and stuff that makes you productive, and stuff that helps you to forget of an evening or a weekend how shit your life is and how unfulfilled you are. Whereas things like psychedelics in a lot of countries, You know, and these are mind-expanding substances. Yes, you do have to choose caution. They're not for everyone. But for some people, you know, they are a real great way to evolve and grow and undo past trauma. And just, I think, personally, and that's outlawed. That's outlawed. So, yeah, I think there's something to what you're saying there, White. I think that presidents, you know, rulers, I think that they should have to do plant medicine ceremonies. I think they should have to do a few and really, you know, have deep experiences and really realise how we're all connected. And, you know, you get to feel the harm you do to others, you get to feel it as though you've done it to yourself. And it really tells you, yeah, don't be crap to other people. And I think, were this the case, I think it could end war, to be honest. I think it could end war. It'd be amazing. Nikki, Northern British Gaming, morning to you. Vegan Mooncat. Subscribe to him. He's great. How are you, brother? Good to see you. Steve Perry brings up a good point. Lakis 101. Space and then 4 exclamation marks. What's that all about, eh? What's that all about? It's annoying to my eyes. I don't understand it. You're welcome, Jeff Zell. I find it a bit intriguing when some unhealthy conspiracy theory talk about problem. I wonder about their own health habit. Yeah, buying government stuff or chugging soda and beer. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Bjorn, you lovely man. Super chat. Bjorn has kindly donated 30 NOK, Norwegian kroner. I seem to remember. Out of the kindness of his heart, how's it going? It's the high-fiving fox. No question, just supporting his local neighboured vegan YouTuber out of the kindness of his heart, as he's apt to do. Okay, he does sail to foreign lands and plunder the churches and monasteries. He does kill priests. He does rape women. But, you know, he also supports his local neighbourhood vegan YouTuber. That may have all been false. I was just talking about Vikings in general there, by the way. Please don't sue me. Shaggy. Hi, Sir Hench and everyone. Thanks for joining. JB001s and Hizzy. Mooncat. Dr. Berger's a chiropractor, so maybe you listen to him if you have a stiff back. I think that's the best advice. I think that's the absolute best advice. Taylor Restall. Hello, everyone. Great seeing your video shopping with your son, Paul. Yeah, how good was that? I'm really proud of him. I think, you know, he's really been looking at it all. And, you know, he's watched some films. He's checked out Game Changers. You know, and we've been having some good chats, and he said to me, "Oh, but you know, can you do like humane killing?" And I think I said, "Well, how do you humanely kill someone who does not want to die?" And he just had no defensiveness about him. He was like, "Yeah, like you are right," and yeah, I think he's very keen for it to hopefully work out for him. So I'm excited. His missus, and she's given it a try. That little girl, Isla, like she doesn't want to eat meat. She doesn't want to eat animals, so I have high hopes for that family and my lad in particular. He's very logical, and he's just a lovely guy. He's not afraid to feel his emotions, but he's not. You know how when we talk about veganism, people get all emotional, and it becomes like a sort of war of attrition. Gwen Stefani. You can get the F out of here with your bigoted nonsense. The world don't need people like you. So you're gone, and I'd like you to go home and rethink your life. And what is your legacy going to be? What is going to be on your tombstone? Here lies the troll who was pretended to be Gwen Stefani. They were an arsehole to people and like to make people have ill feelings. Is that your legacy? Is that what you want to leave behind? Pathetic. Damn, man. You're better than that, I know it. Your poor mum, whatever must she... I hope she don't know like what you do. Terrible. Wow. Tuchel, Bjorn the vegan Viking, that's it. Burning cornflake in the hizzy, morning to you. Harry, why has your son tried veganism? Why did it take so long? Well, 99+% of people, why am I still seeing this Bellin's comments for? That's weird. That's weird. By the way, Gwen, say whatever you want. You can't hurt me. You may be the sort of person who gets upset by things people type on the internet. I don't give two shits. I know that I'm a great person. I know I'm doing great in the world. You saying like bigoted, racist, homophobic shit just tells me that your life is terrible. And in order to make yourself feel good, you have to put others down. That is so sad. Genuinely, I'm not being facetious here. I am so sorry. I have great pity for you. And yeah, life's been unfair. And so you've obviously been made to suffer. Your suffering's spilling over. All you're doing is getting little black and white squares and arranging them in a certain pattern. How can you hurt me with black and white squares? You may be able to be hurt yourself by black and white squares. I really can't. So that's very silly. Anyway, everyone, just ignore them and we'll just carry on. Don't feed the troll. Yeah, why has your son tried veganism? Because he wasn't vegan and he wants to better himself. Why did it take so long? Why are 99+% of people not vegan? What a daft question. Jose, hi Paul, what would you say against someone who's claiming that a diet becomes unhealthy when you need to supplement? I would say that 2/5 of Americans are B12 insufficient or deficient, and so therefore they need to supplement. So, you know, does that prove that like an omnivorous diet is wrong? If we're not getting adequate sun, we need to take a vitamin D supplement. An average omnivorous eater gets about 300 IUs of vitamin D from their food, from the dead bodies that they consume. Whereas, in order to be optimal, according to the science, the sweet spot for an average male is like 2,000 IUs per day. So they're going to be woefully underdosed. And yeah, there is no healthy way to eat animal products. Like, you know, the more animal products you eat, the quicker that you're going to kill yourself. At least a vegan diet can be healthy. And it becomes unhealthy when you need to supplement. In what way? Where's the data? Show me the science. And the fact is, you know, maybe people are saying, oh, it's unnatural. But what was I going to say? The truth of the matter is, the environment has changed. We now sterilise everything, which is why we don't get B12 in our produce, in our drinking water, which is a good thing that it's sterilised because we're not dying of infectious diseases. But yeah, we need to take a supplement. The most of the B12 that omnivorous eaters get is from the supplement given to the animals. So they're taking a supplement anyway, but with that, they're getting fat, trans fats and cholesterol, which contribute, they raise serum LDL, which is the only critical risk factor for the #1 cause of death in humans. So you can get your B12, but give yourself heart disease, which kills 1 in 3. Or you can just take the supplement that the cow would have been injected with anyway. So I would say to that person that they are a complete dipshiz. Unknown error. What's your thoughts on avant-garde vegan cooking? I like that he uses tons of whole foods. of course, you know, being a chef, you know, it's more about taste than health. So from my perspective, you know, I wouldn't be eating most of the dishes with additional oils, refined sugar. You know, it's not a health food, so it's not for me. But, you know, he's a great guy. He's really lovely, actually. I met him and he was really nice. And, yeah, he's doing a great thing. Most people want to eat tasty food. They're not worried about healthy food. And again, to be fair, he uses a lot of whole food ingredients, so he's better than most in terms of health. Oh, Bjorn, you lovely man. Super chat. 50 knocks. That's very generous. I have to say that there's things that was done in the past and hope eating animals will be looked at horrific things for our forefathers did in the future. Yeah, and it will be. It will be. Honestly, sooner or later, someone is going to say, did you know we used to eat animals? And people will be horrified. Yeah, that will very definitely be a thing. I would bet my life on it. Good man. And thank you for your kind support. You're so good to me. I really appreciate you. Adrian brings up a good point. Vegan. How you doing, brother? How's the vegan scene where you are, my friend? And yeah, where in the world are you? How's the vegan scene there? And how are you doing? And thanks for joining. D, got sorted out yesterday with the course. Ah, good. Thanks a million to you and Gemma. And thanks a billion to you. Like, we were struggling a little bit. We were a bit concerned about, can we keep doing this YouTube thing? Is it going to stay viable? And thanks to people like you buying the course, now we're pretty comfortable and the pressure's off. We breathe a sigh of relief. And now I can just enjoy making what videos I enjoy to do. And yeah, it's hard. We were having to work so hard. You know, we were just constantly working every day, and it was all right. I mean, I'm doing the job I love, but it was becoming like a little bit of a grind, like just work, get content out. And when you don't have time to like chill, like inspiration can't come, and then you're not doing your best work anyway, and you're not enjoying it half as much. And so now, thanks to people like you, we can have a little bit of a breather, get inspired, and then, you know, do better work and be excited. And I think it showed, like that video I shot with my son a couple of days ago. That was so much fun. I just loved every second of it. And it's doing really well in the algorithm. So, yeah, happy days. Bjorn, I think it's multiple accounts. Right. That makes sense. No doubt they might be back. Guys, well, I mean, I think you all did anyway. What I would invite you to do is just blank them. Just blank them. We'll hide them. And yeah, they'll have to go off crying and try to upset someone else. But poor person, eh? Like, they can only derive pleasure from trying to upset other people. Like, what sort of horrible life must you have had? Like, I'd like to give them a cuddle. That's not me being facetious. I would like to give them a cuddle and say, like, not everyone's against you and you are loved. But, you know, if you were to say that in a message or on air, like, they'll just think that you're trolling them because that's all they know. They think everyone's like them, you know, and it's not their fault they're like that. Someone was crap to them probably as they were growing up. Bless them. Poor people. Scuzz, are beets or garlic better? Yeah, thanks, Mincat. Yeah. Scuzz, are beets or garlic better for blood flow? I don't know that one's better than the other or what. I think they both work in slightly different ways. Best for health is to eat a range. So I would say, yeah, eat some beets, eat some garlic. Better than beets, actually, is beet greens. Or, yeah, just any leafy greens in general. Any dark leafy greens, they actually have more nitrates. We will actually produce more nitric oxide from eating greens than we will from the bulb of the beetroot. But that's great too. So, yeah, just get it all in you, is what I say. If I had to guess, I'd say maybe the beets could be a little bit better. Jose, I could handle it when I go for natural argument, but the supplement argument is new to me. Yeah, I don't think there's any good argument that can stand up to veganism. But yeah, it's just knowing it, isn't it, and haven't come across it before. Januaria Focini. That is a very cool name. Where are you from, lovely? Do you have yogurt alternative suggestions? I can't do soy. Some of the coconut-based ones so heavy, feels more like heavy cream. Coconut yogurts are bad for our heart health. I really do suggest. I would never eat those personally. You can't do soy. Almond. There's a few different types of yogurts now. So yeah, you should be able to find another plant-based one. Unknown Error. How are you getting on, Unknown Error? I know you're starting the vegan thing. Love the video of you and your son. Hopefully there will be more of you showing him the way. Yeah, I think how well that first video is done, I'm happy to make that into a series if people are wanting it. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thank you. Genuaria, I'm from Italy. I wondered if it was going to be Italy, but I didn't want to say that and get it wrong. How's the vegan scene? Which part of Italy are you in? How's the vegan scene? I understand that your produce, like your fruits and veggies, are pretty nice. Is that correct? And yeah, which part? How long are you vegan? How long have you been vegan? And how's the scene there? Like, are there other vegans where you are, or are you the only vegan in the village? Let me know. Mooncat, oat yogurt's okay. I've never tried that. Mooncat, have you heard of potato milk, Paul? I think it's new. No. Wow. I've heard of potato protein before. Years ago, there was potato protein powder, which apparently they advertised it as having a better amino acid profile than beef. Sorry, potato milk. Oh, sounds minging. Is potato milk a thing? Yeah, usually sold in powder. Yeah. Weird. Who's tried potato milk? Who would try it? I'd give it a go. I'll just thumbs up my own stream. So how's everyone doing in the chat? What are you up to today, guys? What have you got on the cards? What am I doing? I'm at the gym in a little while. It's upper body push 2. So what have I got? Incline dumbbell presses, dumbbell shoulder press. What else do I have? Oh, Egyptian side lateral raise, which is like a leaning cable side lateral raise. Make width. Cable crossover for the chest. What do I do for triceps today? Oh, I do, so with my elbows in extension, so behind my body, sorry, my shoulders in extension, my elbows behind my body, I do, I basically get the 2 ropes. So instead of 1 rope, you got 2. So you can basically take the ropes like right past you. And, you get a better contraction of the long head of the triceps. So you get more kind of hang here, which a lot of people lack. They tend to hit the other 2 heads quite hard, but missed that one. Oh, and a little bit of calves. A little bit of calves as well. I'll do a toe press today, where you push. You're basically in a leg press machine. And so you're pushing with your feet. So you're like plantar flexing your feet and pushing the plate away from you. Whereas normally with calf raises, you're moving away from the floor, aren't you? This gives it a bit of a different stimulus. Januaria. That is the best name. That is the absolute best name. Januaria. I love that. Unfortunately, we are a bit behind here because I live in the centre of Italy, not in a big city. Oh, so you're kind of in the countryside? That's often the case, isn't it? Like, it's still in the UK, you know, in some villages, it can be quite unheard of. Sometimes you can be really lucky, though. But if you go to Milan, Rome, Florence, etc., it isn't bad as far as vegan scene goes. Very good. So how are you coping? Now, do you know any vegans yourself? Or like your family vegan, or is there any vegan friends, or are you really going it alone? Because that must be difficult. I've not had to endure that. Tristan O'Dowd, do you recognise Scotland as a real country? No, I think that it's a mirage. I think it's just a mirage. Also, I don't know, and I'm not really that bothered to think about it. I think, because I've called this Ask Me Anything, I mean, it's fair enough that you've asked that question, but it's not really of interest to me. I'm more into the vegan things. So, yeah, I just don't want to have to think about it. It feels like a waste of my energy, from my perspective, based on my likes, dislikes, and goals. Have I missed some comments? Oh, I'm so sorry, I have, haven't I? Nelly, how are you doing? What advice would you give someone that doesn't have an appetite because of sad things that's going on in one's life? Yeah, that can be difficult. That can be difficult. So I guess, you've got to treat the sort of mental well-being. So, talking things out with friends, a counsellor is huge. Things like meditation, cold therapy, breath work. These are amazing, and you'll be surprised the amount of benefit you can get from all of them. The things that you obviously, I suppose one thing is, if you can bring yourself to do some exercise, that will help your mood and it will up your appetite. So I would say try to get some exercise if you can bring yourself to do it. And and what you do, go for more calorically dense things. Of course, you want some leafy greens, but don't eat a wheelbarrow full, and then you can't eat grains and legumes and tropical dried fruits, nut seeds, avocado. The more calorically dense things. Tristan O'Dowd, I'm assuming that you're a complete bellend who just likes to cause ill feeling in others. So I'm afraid you've got to go. We just have nice people around here who make us feel good. Hope you can understand that. No offence, you bellend. Taylor, going to do bird monitoring for purple martins later for work. That sounds very cool. I like it. Harry Turu, I'm also doing gym push today. Good man. Also meeting up with her late. Oh yeah. Bum chicka wow wow. Watch what you're up to. Watch what you're up to. I hope that your father's had a talk with you about condoms. They spoil all the feeling. Oh, hang on. A cat's here. Cat. Hello. A cat comed. Yeah, I'm comfy. January, have you ever been to Italy? I've been hardly any places, and yeah, Italy's not one of the few places I have been to. I would love to, and we're starting a new business at some point. I keep going on about it, it's not materialised yet, but things are happening. But anyway, we may well be doing a little bit of a tour around and seeing what's the vegan scene like in different countries, and yeah, Italy is one of the places I would like ideally to go, but we'll see what the other guys say. Oh, I'd love to visit Rome. Like warriors and gladiators hold a lot of interest for me. So I'd love to go to the Colosseum and things like that. That would be amazing. Yeah, that would be really good. Iron, tips on losing stubborn body fat while maintaining muscle. So, basically... you lose you lose body fat at a similar rate all over your body. Sadly, more of it accumulates around the belly, so that takes the longest to go. So basically, it's being in a slight caloric deficit whereby you're not burning muscle off, but you are losing weight, no more than 1% of your total body weight each week, and just doing it long enough that you get to the place where you want to be at. So it's just hanging in there and just being in that slight little deficit. Ideally, from my perspective, I've tried every diet under the sun. High carb, lower fat, whole foods, plant-based diet is optimal because you can just fill yourself up with food. You don't have to feel hungry and you can be in that deficit, like just lose as much weight as you want to. Up to 1% per week. Don't aim to lose more than 1% of your total body weight because you're setting yourself up to fail and you're going to be miserable. Also, Australia is in lockdown, so I'm losing muscle in the chest, back and arms. Hang on. Losing muscle in the chest and back. Arms and legs are fine because of ease of training. So, if you don't have access to some good equipment, chest and back. So I would be doing some pull-up or recline row variations, feet elevated press-ups. If you've got a training partner and you've got some plates, get them to load your back with plates. So you're doing like weighted press-ups, one-arm press-ups. They're pretty challenging. You should still be able to get a fairly decent workout. And the fact is, according to science now, we do know that you can do higher rep and build muscle. We used to say 8 to 12 hypertrophy range. We've since learned you can build muscle on lower reps, higher reps. You just have to do enough volume. But it's just more efficient to be in that sort of 6 to 12 rep range because you're not doing masses of reps, and then you're not doing low reps and having to rest for like 3 minutes between sets because it's so taxing. I'm going to have to take my top off because I'm too hot, sorry. Yeah. I think I'm starting to digest my 2-litre smoothie I had for breakfast. And I've got that dietary thermogenesis. I'm burning hot, Minka, Jerry bit my toe in his sleep, but because he's so small, it doesn't hurt. I bet that was nice. Jeff. January, unfortunately, due to COVID, a few vegan-friendly little cafes I would go to all the time had to close. Oh no! Best thing we have is vegan sorbet and granitas. What's granitas? I'm interested. Search Google for granitas. Semi-frozen dessert. Originally from Sicily. Related to sorbet and Italian ice. Interesting. Nelly, I'm really depressed. I'm sorry to hear that. That really sucks. If I give you my number, can you or Gemma call me? Yeah, I don't want to think of you suffering. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of spare time to... So many people want my time, and I tend to have to always say no because I would never be able to do my own life. But yeah, I don't want you to be suffering. Can you give Gemma a message on Instagram, Gemma_Herbivore? Give her a message there, and see if she's got some advice for you, or if she feels like she can make some time to chat. Maybe she will. We'll certainly do something to help you out, Nelly. I don't want to think of you suffering. Bless you. Can we all send Nelly some love, please? I'm going to send these hench hearts. They are worth 50 standard hearts. So this is a lot of love. Boom. At the very least, I mean, she may well want to chat to you, Nelly, but at the very least, she'll have some really good resources, like a lot of videos that can really, like, help you. That's really her bag. She's a bit, you know, I'm more nutrition and fitness, but with the mental health thing, Gemma's the brain wizard out of the two of us. So yeah, shoot her a message on Gemma_herbivore on Instagram. Or if you've not got Instagram, email her. What's her email? She's got a business one. Hang on. Gemma. Gemma.henchherbivore@yahoo.com. Gemma.henchherbivore@yahoo.com. Yeah, please send her a message, Nelly, and we'll try to we'll do something to help you out for sure. Morning, Jack the Gamer. How are you doing? Laban Grakvist. That's a cool name. Italy feels scary / annoying without knowing the language. I definitely want to go there myself, though. One day. Cats, I've got to get Bella to school back soon. Bella, that is Italian for beautiful, I believe. So that fitted right in with the last question or the last statement. Be well, brother. Hope to chat to you later on. Zell, about high carb, mostly complex, not simple, right? Right. How bad are pasta? They are so delicious. Whole grain pasta is actually really good. It's not so good normally when you make grains, even if they're whole grains, into flour, because they act a lot differently in the body, like they absorb so quick. Because of the way that pasta is extruded under high pressure, it like re-solidifies it. And again, like it doesn't break down so quickly. You won't chew it as fine as like a flour-based product. And so it'll absorb more slowly. There'll be bigger particles that won't get into the bloodstream through the wall of the small intestine. They'll make it through the ileocecal valve into the colon and feed you good gut bugs. So yeah, whole grain pasta, great. Refined, like white pasta, no. Egg pasta, obviously, no. But just like pure whole wheat, very good. Shardian, hello, I'm going to start working out first time after resisting to a vegan diet. I'm skinny with a high metabolism. Any tips? If you're trying to grow muscle, which I'm guessing you are based on what you're saying, tell me if I'm wrong. You just need to be eating more calories than you're burning. So being a slight caloric surplus. Ideally, you know, eat majority whole foods, but you need to eat the more calorically dense foods so you're not filling yourself up with like low calorie leaves and things. You obviously need some leaves, etc. But don't go overboard, just eat the minimum. But eat well of legumes, whole grains, tropical and dried fruits, nuts, seeds, whole nut and seed butters, avocado. Smoothies are a good choice. If you're doing some heavy weight training, intense weight training, I think that the judicious use of 1 or 2 servings of a more processed protein food could help you optimize for your goals. However, it's not optimal for health. So it depends on your risk aversion. But, you know, in the context of an otherwise whole foods plant-based diet, a couple of servings of a quality protein powder like Vivo Life, link below, 10% off code HENCH10, or tofu, seitan, textured vegetable protein, you know, I don't think that's so bad, really. It's certainly not as bad as the alternative, which is meat and dairy, which will kill you. Super chat. Dean Ellis, you lovely man, $4.99 on the super chats. What a gent. Hey, Hench, just wondering if you've seen Dominion. No, all the way through. No, I seek not to watch those sorts of things. They F me up. If so, what was the experience? I'll tell you what I did eventually do. We were doing an Earthlings experience, you know, where people are playing Earthlings on a computer to the public. And no one was coming over. So I bit the bullet and I pretended to be a bystander and I went and watched some. I just watched a few minutes and it wrecked me. I really regretted it. That night, I dreamt that I was an animal in a slaughterhouse waiting to be executed, and I felt dread and I felt despair. And I've not felt those two emotions before or since. And I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. It ruined me for like a few weeks. I was really unhappy in life. I just had a general feeling of sorrow and like just grief and hopelessness. I'm not the sort of person who should look at these things. I'm just not. I've just got so much compassion, like so much empathy, sorry, is the word I'm looking for. I've got so much empathy. I'm just very cognizant that I was lucky enough that this consciousness was born into this body. You know, I could have been born into a black man or woman's body, you know, a couple of 100 years ago in America. I could have been a slave. You know, I could have been born, you know, into an animal's body. I could have been born into a pig's body. And I could be in a gas chamber right now. You know, I was just lucky. And, you know, okay, yeah, animals, other non-human animals look a bit different from us. But in the ways that matter relative to murder, you know, they have emotions just like us. They have, you know, they seek joy. They feel love. They run from violence. They scream under the knife just like we do. So in the ways that matter, they are the same as us. And so I can't look at that any more than I could watch a human getting his head like cut off. Yeah, it's disgusting. Hate it. But I'm glad these films exist because some people need to see it. I figure that I've seen it. I'm already driven. I'm already working as hard as I can, like pushing out the vegan content and trying to do good in the world. And yeah, and I feel like if I see that stuff, it actually makes me less effective because it just brings me down. And that's not helpful. And thank you for the kind super chat, Dean. That's really generous. And it helps me to keep on my mission. So I'm very, very appreciative to you. Jack the Gamer, thoughts about bags of greens treated with ozone? I don't know anything about that. Is the ozone, is that meant to kill, is that meant to reduce pesticide residue or something? Or have I got that wrong? I'm a bit out of the loop. I seem to remember something about that somewhere. Yeah, let me know more about it. I'm a bit, I think I'm a bit uneducated on it. Ricky, do you eat bread? Yeah, fairly often. I look for, obviously, whole grain. I look for one with the least additives. Certainly no palm oil. Preferably no oil, but that's rare. But at least as low oil as possible. And not the, like, horrible oils. Not that any of them are healthy, but without the long and very long chain triglycerides. So palm oil, you know, palm kernel oil, that kind of thing. For me, it's just useful to include some slightly processed things because of the amount of calories I have to consume in order to maintain my body weight as a bodybuilder. Were I not a bodybuilder, did I not have to eat twice as many calories as your average person? I probably wouldn't include it, in all honesty. I would stick to whole intact grains as they are certainly healthier. But again, I think in the context of an otherwise whole foods plant-based diet, a couple of slices of bread, but you're mostly eating whole intact food, you know, it's probably not going to kill you. Is it optimal? Well, no, it's not optimal. So where's your risk aversion? I suppose that's the deal. January, I buy local as much as possible. Very good. I really believe in seasonal eating as well. As wondering if you personally buy organic. What are your thoughts on that? I would rather buy organic. Until quite recently, we went through a stage where we didn't have the finances to do so. So I've not been buying organic for a long time. But it's certainly healthier. You know, it's certainly going to be healthier. You'll get a lot more polyphenols for one thing, which protect the plant, and then they actually protect us as well. When plants are covered in pesticides, they then, don't need to produce so much pesticides of their own, like natural ones, like sulforaphane. So they then put more energy into growing. So yeah, not quite as helpful, but it's not all that different. I I wouldn't not eat plenty of conventional just because it's a bit lower in nutrients. And of course, you have got the negatives on there. Anything ending in side, you know, suicide, homicide, genocide, generally is not something that you want to be part of. And so, you know, fungicides, herbicides, insecticides, you know, they're probably not ideal in the human body. I mean, I don't know how bad they are, but I do know that there's so much good in fruits and vegetables and other whole food products that you are, you know, you're undoing like the harm of, you know, the pesticides. Yeah, so I wouldn't limit them, but ideally, yeah, I would eat more organic. And yeah, seasonal. So that really speaks to sustainability, doesn't it, in environment? For me, being in the UK, it would be a pretty miserable diet, and I think it may be a bit lacking if you could only eat local stuff. But it would be better for the environment for sure. So good on you for considering that. Nice January. That's a great name. Scuzz, would eating 30% of cows from fat compared to 15 increase test to a noticeable amount? If the amount you were eating was suboptimal, so you were only getting half as much as you needed and you were suddenly getting 100% of what you needed, yeah. But probably for an average person on an average amount of calories, it would make no difference. You know, you can only build so much. Jacob, it's hard to reach out and ask for help. Good on you, Nanny, by the way, to feel, yeah, on your way to feeling better. Great response, Hench, not leaving them hanging. Yeah. Thank you, Dean. I feel you, man. Me too. I watched 15 minutes of Dominion and it messed me up. I don't know how people can stomach it in its entirety. Thanks for answering. You're very welcome, Dean, and you are a lovely person. Demi, does eating a lot of fruit spike your blood sugar, or is this a myth? Not so much, because the sugar is bound to fibre. Refined sugar on its own, devoid of fibre, yeah, that would cause a spike. But fruit sugar, by and large, I mean, some are worse offenders than others. So it depends on like the volume you're eating. But then again, it also depends what else you're eating in the meal. And so, you know, if you're just eating dates, like that might give you sort of a bit of a spike. But if you've got some berries in there as well, if you've got some fats in there particularly, which slows down digestion, you know, some slow burning carbs, then, you know, it's going to be quite blunted and probably not anything to really be concerned about. But it's really refined sugar. Fruit juice, yeah, that would really spike your insulin or your blood sugar. Well, both. JB, depressed people are my people. Anyone feeling down on this rock? Not to be entirely trusted. Yeah, I do get you. Yeah, I'm not surprised, angry vegan. Yeah, JB, I don't watch torture footage now. I just end up walking around hating people. Yeah, it makes you bitter and angry and sad, and I think for a lot of people quite ineffectual, and I think it works against us sometimes. I think like for some people, like we do need to see it, you know, to really understand it and believe it and see how serious it is and light a fire to make us, you know, do our best as often as we can to try and help. But yeah, for a lot of people, I've seen people just burn out so much and just be in floods of tears and like in pieces, and that's not helping animals sitting there as a blubbering wreck. Like, what good are you doing? And you've hurt yourself. So you've actually added to the amount of suffering in the world, you know. But bless you for doing it, because a lot of people would rather turn a blind eye. So I do admire you. Jack, I think it's supposed to kill all microbes, right? But I know nothing else about it. Yeah, I think I heard something about it being good against pesticides, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that is right, though. Nelly, I'm depressed because I'm a chef. Cooking was always my passion and joy until I became vegan. I get nauseous cooking animal products now. Yeah, I get paid more money than I ever have been. Yeah, sadly, it's not a vegan world. But if that's hurting your mental health so much, is it worth taking a bit of a pay cut in order to be happier? And yet, can you get a job in a vegan business? I would be sending my resume like here, there, and everywhere. I hope you can get out of that, because that's miserable. January, do you know Cyrus and Robbie from Mastering Diabetes? I'm aware of them. I've never, they're two of the few kind of influencers I haven't chatted to. Would love to see a colour. Okay, I'll see what I can do. I want to start doing some more interviews now. So yeah, we'll see if we can make that happen. I did chat to their friend Adam Sud. I think he's known as the Plant-Based Addict on Instagram, and I think he works with them actually. He actually works with them. So I've got an in. Scuzz. So eating more than 20 to 30 grams of fat wouldn't produce a more noticeable amount more of tests. So, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers. I'm kind of guessing, really. I'm kind of inferring. But I would have thought that should be enough. And if that is enough to build the hormones that your body is wanting to, then just putting in more fats is not going to make it. It doesn't build hormone based on how much of the substances. It builds hormones based on how much it perceives that your body requires. I can't think of a good analogy. What would be a good analogy? No, nothing springs to mind. But basically, you're only going to produce so much. So the only thing dietarily you can do to affect production is not give enough fats to give the raw materials. And then, so 20 to 30 grams, I would have thought probably it is enough fats. So then going above that, you're just adding in more calories. Like there's no like labourers there to build. There's no requirement. No one's putting an order for more hormones. So you're just eating like extra energy at that point. I'm sure there's a better way of explaining that. What is a good analogy, people? Help me out. Rebel Coder. Hey Hench, can't wait to meet you at the camp out very soon. Thank you for your work. Thank you, you lovely person. I can't wait to meet you too. And do all you guys know about our new Facebook group, Hench Herbivore Community? Because we're gonna do a meet up either one or both of the days where we can all hang out. We'll do a group photo. I'll put it in the chat now. So feel free to join that page. And one or both days, we'll just arrange on there. Okay, I don't know, say midday, right, we'll meet by this place. We'll do a group photo. If you've got any like a camouflage jacket or hat or whatever, bring it. Because we sort of refer to ourselves as the Herbivore Army. And maybe we'll just all do like silly muscle poses and have a bit of camo splattered around the group. And I just think that would look pretty cool. And but it's you don't have to do all that. We can just come and meet up, please join that group if you want to, and I can't wait to meet you all. This is my favourite thing about this whole job, is meeting all my lovely friends that I only know from online otherwise. So yeah, I look forward to meeting you, Rebel Coder. January, do you like Freely? I don't dislike her. I know she's controversial, but for example, her video on hot dogs was the only way I convinced my own parents to not buy them anymore. Yeah, I think her heart's in the right place. She did wear one of my t-shirts live on national Australian television on the news. So that was nice of her. So yeah, I like her. Yeah, she's a bit controversial, but yeah, I think she's got a good heart and she's just trying to make the world a better place. So I like her. Demi, What is the best source of protein to ingest straight after the gym? I'm trying to avoid protein powder. It's pretty irrelevant, really, as long as you're eating the range of whole plant foods. You'll get all the amino acids you need, and you should be eating a range of things for your health anyway. So I'd just say eat a whole foods plant-based diet. If you want to add to your percentage of protein in your diet, like I say, you can lean on protein powders, as you said, which you're averse to, or seitan, textured vegetable protein, tofu. Yeah, so that's fine as well. But rather than thinking of like individual things, it's just good to eat a range of foods. And in that way, you know, you're getting all the different types of aminos in different ratios. By the end of the day, as long as you've eaten them, like they contribute to your pools of free aminos, and your body will just dip in whenever it needs them. So it's a non-issue. You don't have to protein combine at each meal. That was a fallacy started in the 70s. Turned out to be erroneous like decades ago. Minka, I will wear camo underpants. There's an image I can't get out of my head now. I will wear Union Jack ones. There. How do you like it? Jack the Gamer, is too much protein harmful? Well, if it's too much, then it's too much. So you've already made it harmful based on the way you've said it. Does that make sense? I think like a better turn of phrase is it possible to eat too much protein? If you're saying, is too much protein harmful? Yeah, it's too much, so it's got to be harmful because you've already said there's too much. Does that make sense? But anyway, I know what you meant. I know what you meant to say. Like a bodybuilder eating 300 grams of protein daily. I don't know that the science is really there. Certainly from animal products, it's going to cause you harm. The fastest growing disease in the West is kidney disease, and it's because of the excess animal products. Now, whether plant protein harms the kidneys just the same or to a high degree, I'm not entirely sure. I think we can infer. Some people do believe that it does harm the kidneys, whatever type of protein you're eating. I'm sure that animal protein's got to be worse. Thanks, Jack. I'm glad you get me. So I think probably I eat 200 grams of protein, and certainly where I'm not bodybuilding, I would slash that to like a third, maybe a third or less. Certainly, if you look at the data, like the longest lived people on record, I think they ate like 7 or 8% of their calories as protein, 85% as carbohydrate. So it's at the very least, it's not optimal. I'm sure that we can comfortably infer that. Mike, has any whole food plant-based vegan died with COVID or been hospitalized? So a recent study actually came out speaking to this. Unfortunately, the whole foods plant-based eaters were lumped in with vegetarians, so the data would have been diluted. However, the people in that more plant-heavy diet were 73% less likely to develop moderate to severe, i.e. hospitalization necessitating symptoms. Now, it made no difference to the ability to catch COVID. So, no. Like whole foods plant-based vegans have been hospitalized. They may have died. I mean, I've not heard of any, but I don't mean to say that it's not happened. I think that would be daft to just infer that. But they were 73% less likely to get moderate to severe symptoms. So most likely they don't even really know they've got it. So really light symptoms. So either unaware or just like feeling a little bit grotty for a day or two, but not too bad. Now, people eating a keto diet, they had 3 times the incidences of moderate to severe symptoms than your average eater. So the more animal products you get, the more likely COVID is to mess you up and potentially kill you. And some of that will be because comorbidities are important. If you're already suffering with heart disease, obesity, hypertension, you know, all these sort of diseases of affluence, which are caused by eating animal products, then you're far more likely to have a problem with COVID. So I think that's really comes into play. So yeah, just as likely to contract it, far less likely to have a bad time of it, especially relative to someone eating a very meat-heavy diet. And there's karma for you. There's karma for you. Do you know what I mean? Eric Castillo, that's a great name. Hey Hench, do you think a low carb or keto plant-based diet is feasible and healthy for someone with type 1 diabetes? Type 1 diabetes. I don't think it's healthy. No, it's not healthy. The longest lived people on record, 85% of their diet is carbohydrate. So keto diet is the exact inverse of that. So I don't think that we can make the claim that it would be healthy. I think lower fat. You can mitigate the symptoms. You won't reverse type 1 diabetes, obviously, but you'll mitigate the symptoms by not having high amounts of fat in your bloodstream, by not eating. You don't want to be eating saturated fats, especially the long and very long chain, which are found in animal products, and then things like coconut oil, palm oil, pumpkin oil, and cocoa butter, because these get lodged inside muscle cells. These are known as intramyocellular lipids, and this is what actually blocks insulin signaling. So the fact that you're already not producing adequate insulin because the beta cells in the pancreas are destroyed, you then add into the need for it. So you're really exacerbating the problem. Yeah, so I actually think a higher carb, lower fat, whole foods, plant-based diet. Protein is just as insulinogenic as carbohydrate, sometimes even more so. So, you know, it's no good relying on like high protein foods. And the fats are going to exacerbate like the condition. It might lessen the symptoms in the short term simply because you're not putting carbohydrate in. So you're not raising your glycogen simply from the fact that that's not what you're eating. But so you're putting a Band-Aid on, you're sort of hiding the symptoms, but you're possibly adding to the root cause, like possibly making it worse. And the minute you do give a carbohydrate load, like a glucose like test, you know, you're going to see like, oh, actually, I'm now a lot more sick than I was to begin with. I would really recommend the book, The Program for Reversing Diabetes by Dr. Neil Barnard. Again, of course, you can't reverse type 1, but you can mitigate the symptoms to a large degree. Demi, is kimchi healthy? So that is like a Korean fermented food, isn't it? I think like that so much salt, likely is not healthy. Dr. Gregor begs to differ when there's things, I don't know if, I mean, it's fermented, isn't it? But it's not, it's miso that undoes the harm. So yeah, likely it's a bit too much salt. I mean, there's benefits from the probiotics, but really it's prebiotics we need to be eating. So you may be just as well to eat the components that are put into kimchi. I think if you've had a bacterial infection, if you've been given a course of antibiotics and you've injured your gut microbiome, it may be beneficial to add in a little fermented foods for a time. That's the time I'd really consider it more than anything. Make sure it's raw and pasteurized and not pasteurized, not like heated, because that kills the bacteria. Angharad, good morning everyone. For my mum, Fudge and I, welcome. How you doing? Do subscribe to young Angharad. She's good people. Ricky has been low in his avocado oil. Definitely tastes the food better. Amen. Jack the Gamer, is intermittent fasting healthy? I haven't felt hungry in years. I think there's really something to be said for time restricted, like eating. I now eat in like an 11-hour window and then don't eat for 13 hours. And there's certainly benefits in terms of hormesis, like your body, because you're not flooding yourself with nutrients and your immune system's got to sort through it. It then turns inwards and can do some repair and potentially like undo the starts of like cancer formation and things. So there's certainly signs to show that. You're also giving your gut microbes a rest. They don't want to be working flat out like all day long. So, and you're less likely to develop SIBO as well. So yeah, very good. Thank you, Eat Plants. Caution, what are downfalls when non-vegans say, oh, vegan protein sources have too much starch? I'm not quite sure exactly what you're trying to say. Are you trying to say, like, what's there, like a counter-argument or whatever? And I would say carbohydrate, including starches, are our species-specific preferred fuel source. And comes with fibre, which is essential. The more fibre you eat, like the longer you live. And your protein sources have no fibre, son. So you can STFU. I would probably say that. Genuaria, are you a fan of lower sodium salts, like the one we have in Sicily, which has lots of potassium and low sodium? Yeah, we have a similar one. I forget the name. What are your favourite spices to replace salt? Yeah, I go low on salt. I think it's called low salt, LOSALT, and it's more potassium heavy. I don't like to add like artificial minerals and vitamins and things where I can help it. So I use a tiny bit. Well, sometimes I use no salt whatsoever. Oftentimes I do. We just use a lot of herbs and spices basically to make, lots of flavors. Basically, rather than putting salt in cooking, what we do, if we're going to use salt, we'll sprinkle a tiny little bit on top of the food on serving. And in that way, you're kind of getting the most bang for your buck. So you need less salt to get the same effect. But what are alternatives? Are there alternatives that are salty, that, taste salty, but are not? Liquid aminos, is that something? Coconut aminos? I'm not sure. There's something that's, I think, low sodium but tastes salty, but then there's one that's less sodium but still like quite a lot of sodium. I think that might be liquid aminos. Yeah, I'm not too. I don't really use. I've never used any of these things. Has anyone in the chat? Have you got any perspective? I'd be interested to hear. And yeah, miso. So miso is very salty. Supposedly, the fact that it's fermented undoes the harm. But I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical about it. I just can't see how it would be a thing. Like, I already eat the most nutritious diet on the planet, so why isn't the goodness in all that stuff like undoing the harm already? So I'm unsure. So I'm basically waiting till I get confirmation of the science. Nelly, do you consume moringa powder? No, I have done. I can't remember. I think it's meant to be fairly healthful, isn't it? Is it like a sweetener? I've kind of forgotten. I had it a while ago. Moringa powder. It has quercetin, like onions. Quite nutrient rich. I thought that I saw Nutrition Facts did a video on moringa. They're my go-to people for all the science. Moringa. Oh yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. The benefits of moringa. Is it the most nutritious food? I forget what the take home was. Oh, they did two videos, 1 and 2 weeks ago. I would really recommend checking out nutritionfacts.org, the benefits of moringa and the efficacy and side effects of moringa leaf powder. I'm going to give that a look just to reacquaint myself. I'm sure I watched him. Sounds like it went in one ear and out the other. Grumpy Vegan Grandad, subscribe to him. He's a great person. Good morning, Paul. First time I've caught live in a while. Yeah, it's good to see you, my friends. How's it going? How's it going up there in Northern Town? Excellent. Good stuff, Corshall. Grumpy Vegan. I'm working stupid shifts on the wagons at the moment and my diet is all over the place. I'm worried about losing muscle mass. If I get my daily protein in through shakes, will that suffice? It's just total calories and adequate protein. So yeah. I will just be a little bit scientific about it and use chronometer. Try to suss out what is your calorie and your protein requirement and just make an effort to be scientific about it and make sure that you're hitting it on the daily. But there's no reason why you should lose muscle mass as long as you're eating adequately. Angry Vegan brings up a good point. Lemon juice can replace salt in some dishes. Yeah, that does really help, doesn't it? Corshall, Dr. Gregor said moringa really isn't worth it. I thought that was it. Some people use it for abortions. What? People have reported skin shedding. I think I'll stay away from that then. That's saved me a few minutes of my life. So thanks for that. Genuaria, are you a fan of carob powder instead of cacao? Yeah, I use both. I mean, I do enjoy cacao more. But yeah, carob's nice. I've even eaten carob pods before. Yeah, very good. If you're caffeine sensitive, that's a much better choice, obviously. Mike Van Bike. How do you argue with a carnivore? Well, carnivore dieter. I mostly show him this video. Hench Herbivore, 51 reasons. So I did a video. It's had 20,000 views. 51 reasons why carnivore dieters are dumb AF. Sorry for the swear. I'll put it in the chat now. And it's just, I think it's mostly anatomy, and it just shows how we are anatomically, we're herbivores. We're not carnivores in any way, shape, or form. Not even obligate omnivores. One of the best little tests. I often talk about this on the stream, so I won't go on it for too long. But put your fingers there, clench your teeth. You'll feel a tiny little twitch. Those are your temporalis muscles. In a carnivore, they're massive. And the point of them is that they pull the jaw up into the skull. So when you bite a moving animal, you don't get your jaw ripped off and then have to die because you can't eat anymore. Ours are non-existent almost. And there are masseters. If you put your fingers here and press, see, you can see how much that's moving, can't you? That's massive. So the masseters are on the outside. Similarly, on the inside of the jaw are the pterygoids. Now, these muscles are responsible for this. We need that to allow us to grind down plant matter. That's what a carnivore's jaw doesn't move like that. For one thing, it's a fixed hinge. So the fact that we can move our jaw like that tells us that we are specialized to like plant eating. And yeah, when these muscles are bigger than these muscles and not the other way around by a massive margin, then we'll be carnivores. That's just one thing. There's 50 other reasons. So yeah, check that video out and then just laugh your ass off at how silly people are. Night Ricky, thanks for joining. Taylor, our kombucha is a bit of a fad. Do we get a lot of probiotics from normal foods? We don't get a lot, but we get an amount. We don't get a lot of probiotics from kombucha. They're pretty low. There's some in there, but not much. It probably makes no difference. Clinically, I would infer that probably it makes no difference at all to your gut health. It's a bit healthier than, it's a lot healthier than drinking lemonade or Coke or something. So it's better than the alternative. I don't see it as a health food. It's cupcake. What are some good sources of iron and vitamin D? The best source of vitamin D is the sun. It's the only one where you'll reliably get adequate vitamin D from foods. No one gets adequate vitamin D from natural foods, even me, is by a long shot. And what was the other one? Iron. The biggest contributors to my iron are things like lentils, tomatoes, oats, spinach, kidney beans, quinoa, sweet potato, kale, mushrooms, and berries. For a small female on a weight loss diet, you know, I wrote a plan for someone a few years ago. They got nearly 30 milligrams of iron, which is 366% of the RDA. That's on a low amount of calories. Iron is a non-issue. If you're eating a half-healthy diet, iron is a non-issue. And it's very easy if you're eating an unhealthy diet with animal products to get too much iron, because we can't block the absorption of heme iron very well, like preformed animal-based heme iron. We can only block about a fifth of that relative to how much plant iron we can block when we've got adequate in our system. So it's very easy to get a toxic load of iron. This creates hydroxyl radicals, which are some of the worst oxygen-free radicals. They just wreak havoc in the body. They cause cancer. So people like Frank Tofano, like sort of laughing about his iron overload issues, which I could have told him, you know, before he got started, that that's going to happen to you and it's going to mess you up. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Grumpy, I use my fitness pal. Yeah, as long as you you're tracking it. Alan, didn't realise you came on last night. No, it was a late one. We were doing a live stream on the Jane Unchained News Network, so we were held up, but we came on late. Nally, I'm imagining you've already heard. January, you educate me about cocoa butter not being helpful, but what about raw cacao beans, not chocolate chips, just cacao nibs? Are those too high in fat? I mean, so specifically, I mean, not all fats are harmful, but the long and very long chain triglycerides in cocoa butter. So yeah, they are in like cocoa nibs, cocoa beans. I mean, I will say, obviously, there is a certain amount you can eat and get away with. So likely, if you're just using a foo, you know, in an otherwise whole foods plant-based diet without coconut oil or beef fat or butter, you know, likely that's not going to hurt you. But I don't know what amount that would be. So yeah, I tend to skip it, but probably, you know, I'm being overcautious. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be afraid to have a few little sprinkles of the nibs. It's Sam. Do you take an omega-3 supplement? Yes, or just eat nuts and seeds? Both. So yeah, if you're eating adequate of omega-3, so at least like 2 to 4 tablespoons of ground flax or chia, that should be adequate. And as long as you're in balance with your omega-6 and 3, no more than 4 to 1 in favour of omega-6, you should be fine. However, some people do need a direct source of DHA if they're unlucky, basically, if they have a genetic defect or some such thing. So I consider it like a fail-safe. So yeah, I add it in. I use Vivo Life's one. I just do it 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The effective dose is 250 milligrams, and their one is actually dosed much higher. So yeah, so a bottle of it lasts me blinking ages. If you want to check that out, other brands are available, but if you want a good quality one, link below. Vivo Life, code HENCH10 for 10% off. Demi, do you think dietitians like Abby Sharp are insincere or misinformed about nutrition? She recommends a lot of animal products. Yeah, I think misinformed's really the word. And just suffering from, that just bias. And just really, really sad, really, really stupid, and really unfortunate for people, the planet, and animals. You're welcome, Mike Nully. Is it bad to eat late at night? Yes. Vegan Gain says it's stupid to think that. Well, he is wrong. It hurts your sleep. You get more calories. 500 calories eaten at breakfast will have less of an effect on the body as 500 calories eaten at night. And yet it'll keep you awake. You want to stop eating two to 3 hours before bed. And Vegan Gains doesn't know it all, although he thinks that he does. Genuaria, have you ever found a healthy granola or muesli brand? Yeah, we did find a healthy granola one. No, we didn't. No, there's always a little bit of salt or sugar. And in the end, one of our friends, actually, she has her own company, and she made one, and we had some of that. That's what that was. Forget the name of her company now, though. But that won't be in your country anyway. I'll tell you what's a good way of making granola is to make like a date syrup, and then just coat everything in that, and so that's going to sweeten everything. Maybe a little nut butter or something to give the fatty element. Brilliant! It's a great thing to have on hand. I wish we had some of it. Unknown error. Do you remember the date you went vegan? Not the date. Did you transition into it or go on the spot? I think by way of calories, I went like 98% whole foods plant-based. I kept some animal products in simply because I thought we have been eating them historically. Is there something in there nutritionally that we do need that we can't get elsewhere? But like after a short time, I just lost the taste for animal products. I didn't want to eat them anymore. I really delved into the science, and I really saw like any essential nutrient, we can either get it from plants or we get like the precursor, and we make the animal version of the nutrients like other animals do for ourselves. I was trying to work out. Hang on, where was I? Mooncat, hey Paul, do you remember where you got your green screen vinyl from? No, I'm thinking of looking at getting some due to the lack of creases. Yeah, that is better. I'm going to guess Amazon. It would have been Amazon. I don't know if I could look in our order history. I mean, there's a lot of order history, so that might take me a few months. But yeah, I'd be very shocked if it wasn't Amazon. I'll try and have a look for you later if you don't have any joy. Vizar, more Jorgix haul videos? Food haul videos? What are you trying to say? And yeah, I will endeavour to make some. Phil, morning Paul, greetings from Harrogate again. Nice to see you, my friend. I'm about to dive into overnight oats topped with pumpkin seeds and a few blackberries. 7 minutes to go. Great way to use old glass jars. Yeah, brilliant. Good for you. Yeah, delicious and very healthy. I approve. Genuaria, any snack bar you don't think isn't terribly unhealthy? None springs to mind. I remember naked bars used to be really good, but then they got taken over, and then they started putting like artificial nonsense in there. Sometimes you need bars for hiking. Could you use dried fruits and then like nuts and seeds, like a trail mix? I don't. There probably are commercial bars that are all right, but I don't know them, unfortunately. Yep. They always come back, Mooncat. They always come back. And it just reminds me that they're having a sad life, and then I feel sorry for them all over again. I'd like to give them a cuddle. Vegan Vio. I want to start training boxing MMA. Do you have any tips on throwing a good punch? Not for hurting people, just for hobby. Yeah, it's all in the body weight transference. It's all in your body weight transference. You want to think of your hips. Say you're orthodox, so your left leg is in front and you're throwing a right. You want to think of your hips as a door and your left hip as the door hinge. And you want to transfer your body weight from being fairly even on your feet. And then you slam the door. You don't let your left hip come back. You let your right hip come forward. So you're slamming the door and your body weight is then shifting over your lead leg. And then there's a whip. There's a split between the hip and then the shoulder. And it's like whipping like a conker on a piece of string. It just increases the power exponentially. So that's the thing. It's not muscular so much. It's body weight transference. It's being dynamic, explosive. If you're throwing a left and you're orthodox, so say you want to throw a hook, then the right hip becomes the hinge and you slam. You want to really pivot. You want to be on the ball of your foot and turn your foot in. So your foot wants to face the way your power is going. So for a lead hook, my foot is now pointing in this way, and like your foot will get there first, but my shoulders are still here, and then at the last second, bang, like you're doing a whip, like a whipping action, like throwing a stone, like making skimming stones. So that's really the action. You'll see the same action whether you're throwing a javelin, whether you're playing tennis or badminton. It's a whip. It's called throwing a punch. And most people, particularly bodybuilders, they kind of push the punch. It's a muscular effort. No, I mean, it is a muscular effort, but the muscles you're using actually is your whole body. And it's a kinetic chain starting from the floor and it comes up through the body, but in sequence, like ankle, knee, hip, back, shoulder, elbow. There's a split. It's timing. There's kind of a split. It's really the hip gets there, but the shoulder is still there. So you're storing elastic energy in the core, and at the last second, snap! It just bangs, just comes round. So, that's the best advice I can give you. I hope that made sense. That's the main thing to consider. And as well as power, accuracy trumps power. You can punch as hard as you want. If you miss, if you hit the skull, you can break your hand like I have. You can see I broke my hand there when I hit someone in the skull by accident. Don't worry, it was being a bell end. So accuracy. The best place to strike really is on the jawline because it causes... Imagine like a tree and you shake the trunk and then the top is going mad. So that is the brain bashing against the inside of the skull, which is what causes the knockout. And then you want to be careful because if you knock someone out and then their head hits the pavement, that's often the point at which people die. So, you're saying for sport and not for violence sake, but sometimes you may have to protect yourself. It's a good skill to have, but your martial arts are good when you're more scared of the repercussions of your punch rather than if you're going to win or lose. That's how you know your martial arts are good enough. And that's a terrifying thing. Like, really, I hope never to have to, throw a punch in anger ever again because it's a risk. It's a risk. Like, people die. People can and do die. I've seen it happen. It's not worth it. But if you're forced in that position, try to avoid bad areas. If it comes down to it, it's you or them. It's better to be them. Action beats reaction. And better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6 is a phrase. But you could spend the rest of your life in prison potentially. Like, you never know. It's really not worth it. But a good skill to have. Like, I'd rather have it than not have. And the funny thing is, when you can have a fight, like you don't have that fear, like most people are not used to confrontation. So if someone's like really gobby and aggressive, often they've lost the fight already because they're not used to that. They get that adrenal jump. They, you know, they feel the fear, and they don't feel it as energy to help them fight. They feel it as, oh, I'm scared, and oh no, I'm frozen, or, you know. But, you know, if you're confident that you can hurt someone if you have to, you then don't feel so much fear when people are like aggressive, and they're far less likely to go for it. It's very rare. If you're like confident, it's rare that someone will attack you. Very, very rare. Mostly it's a lot of hot air, and when the other person like shrinks down, then they attack because they feel like confident that they're not going to really fight back. Yeah. So anyway, you weren't really asking about that. You were asking how to make power, but I just thought that was a good public service announcement. I hope I didn't go too far off topic there. Where was I? Vegan Vio, I take it you and Richard aren't on good terms, regardless. Love you both. Yeah, not really. He sort of tried to assume to tell me what to do, so I didn't take too kindly to it. And then he's been talking, I didn't say anything about it, but then he's been talking shit about me. So, yeah, I'll just say it how I see it now. You know, but he has done a lot of good for the vegan movement, so good on him. Islam, do you believe in chiropractic therapy, adjustments to posture and back pain? There's definitely something to it. I've seen a few chiropractors in my time. There definitely can be benefit. Genuaria, what do you think about tiger nuts and barukas? These are mostly what I used to mix with puffed whole grains to make my sort of music. I think I have eaten tiger nuts of maybe once in my lifetime. I can't even remember them. I don't know what barukas are. So yeah, I can't really give you much of an answer, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. Puffed whole grains, you know, they're going to be like higher GI because you're making them into like small particles. So they're not going to feed the gut microbiome so well. They will have the potential to spike blood sugar more. I mean, I suppose if you don't go mad on them, it's not going to be so bad. But you will create a lot of acrylamides, which are probably not the healthiest thing to eat. So better to have whole intact grains. But anyway, you didn't really ask me about that, so I hope I didn't piss you off then. just to say, just for anyone who's interested. And you know what I mean? Just everyone, just eat what you want. Don't think I'm having a go at you or like I think badly, because I don't. As long as you're not eating animals, you're all right in my book. Demi, what is your and Gemma's favourite music? I like dubstep, like Skrillex, stuff like that. Gemma's quite eclectic. She likes electronic. She likes sort of hip hop, not urban. Shaggy, is a little bit of sucralose healthy? I think what you're saying is, how do I really put this? Is a little bit of sucralose healthy? I think you're saying, is it unhealthy to add a little bit of sucralose into my otherwise whole foods plant-based diet? Will I see a negative outcome? How little is a little? Healthy compared to what? I would say it's not optimal, and it's probably causing some degree of harm. There's certainly no healthy constituents to it, and at the very least, you're displacing like something healthier that you could have ingested. So I don't see it as healthy, but you know, healthy is a scale, isn't it? So depends on your definition, I suppose. Islam, the plant-based grocery shopping video of your son is the best plant-based grocery shopping video I've ever seen on YouTube. Oh, well, thank you very much. That's really kind of you. Yeah, well, I'm really pleased with how well that's doing, actually. Phil Voles, have a great day, big fella. And you too. Thank you for your kind words. January, I love your haul and supermarket videos. Would you make more taste tests of vegan things? Those are fun. Yeah, I suppose the trouble is, because I try to eat predominantly whole foods, like to do a taste test, that's really kind of more processed products, isn't it? To be of interest. I don't really want to eat too many of those. I did try the new chicken Subway that came out. But yeah, they are fun. I would like to do more. It's awkward because they're kind of off-brand. So I feel a bit uncomfortable. Like, should I be really promoting them or talking about them? But, you know, they get views. And I'm not just purely about health. I'm also about making veganism easy, letting people know there are options. So, yeah, it's a bit awkward. And you always get some carnivore saying, oh, that's unhealthy. You should just be eating meat. You know, like an imbecile. Yeah, so I don't know. I would like to is the answer, January, with your fantastic sounding name. Caushal, a new study recently came out saying few artificial sweeteners spoil gut microbes. These stuff can never... Oh, I think you're saying that they do harm the gut microbiome. And yeah, we've known that for a while. Yeah, we have. JP, cattle prod by front door. Yeah. I'm not sure to what you were referring. I used to have a baseball bat by my front door. I used to have such an anxiety-inducing life. I was just stupid. Why did I live like that? Laura Griffiths, yay! Morning, Hench. Hope you're all okay. I hope you're okay, lovely, and thanks for joining. How are you doing? What are you up to today? And how's things? That's the same as how are you doing. I don't know why I said that twice. Joe H, tiger nuts, are they vegan? Some are, some aren't. Jack, nice fighting advice. Loved it. Thank you, my friend. I feel a bit weird like talking about it because you know, I'm promoting a non-violent thing. Again, it's probably a little bit off brand, but I'm trying to show that vegans, you know, can be like alpha, masculine. That's an awkward thing, isn't it? Because oftentimes that sort of bleeds into toxic masculinity. I guess like we can stand up for ourselves is a better term, something that I'm trying to say. So yeah, I think it's important. January, is there any validity to food combining principles? I used to adhere to that myself. My understanding is not. I mean, like the whole thing that fruit shouldn't be eaten by itself and best not at night. Yeah, so whole plant foods in general only take 12 to 16 hours to pass through the mouth to exit. I'm trying to say that politely. So it's a bit of an irrelevance. The science on like food combining was around, mostly around protein and carbohydrate, and the fact that we need certain enzymes to digest either. And for some reason, people thought you either produce one type of enzymes or the other at any given time, but we produce all enzymes at all times. There's no need to worry about that. So yeah, I used to adhere to the food combining thing, and then I cut it out. I noticed no difference. And Gemma was a patient at the True North Clinic in Santa Rosa, which is a real big whole foods plant-based medical facility. And yeah, they said that is real bro science, where there's no grounding in real science. There's no evidence to suggest. And, you know, particularly relative to proteins and carbs, most plant foods have both in anyway. So it would be an impossibility, you know, unless you're eating protein powder and refined sugar, in which case, you know, some enzymes are the least of your worries, in all honesty. Vegan Realist, good to see you, mate. Oh, chuffer. Oh, they're tubers. Have I eaten them? Thought I had. Tiger nuts. Why are tiger nuts banned? They are banned in lots of waters because poorly prepared nuts can be fatal to fish. Oh, it's to do with fishing. Yuck! I don't care about that. Have I eaten these? Maybe I haven't. They sort of look familiar. No, I don't think I have eaten them. I shall have to give them a look. Thanks for letting me know about tiger nuts. Angry vegan. I don't know why the US never gets any of the vegan fast food options other countries get, like vegan meatball sub at Subway. Do you know why? Well, from my perspective, you probably have a lot of fast food options that I don't have either. I think, it's just one of them things. Just one of them things. Maybe go in there and kick off about it and demand meatball subs. I think it just depends how well things do, and if veganism's taken off and they do one product and it does well, then they'll bring in more. I think that's the truth of it. It's all about money, isn't it, basically? Vegan Vio. So you think that eating a raw vegan diet where you eat mono fruits is kind of ridiculous? And again, I have actually done that myself. I don't think it's optimal for your health, and I don't think there's a need to. No. Laura, all good, thank you. Glad you're all okay. Working on legs at the moment. Just done a fasted workout for the time for the damn protein. Lovely, well done, you. Nelly, I followed you for years. I wondered if you were the Nelly I know from years gone by. I never knew you had a son. Blessings to you all. Yeah, I keep him a secret. He's my secret weapon. Shaggy, have you eaten durian? I think they're a delight. I ate freeze-dried durian. That was delicious. Smelled and tasted like vanilla protein powder, but really sweet, really nice. And then I got some frozen durian, and it thawed out, and it just looked and smelled horrible, and I couldn't bring myself to put it in my mouth. Now, I do need to go to the gym soon. I think I'll stay on for another 13 minutes, 12 minutes. I'll stay on till 9:30. 12 more minutes, guys. Do get your comments or questions in, and then I better go and build some muscles. Jitsam. Current workout split. Upper body push, upper body pull. Bicycle hill sprints twice a week, 1 day off, 18 total sets each day, and yeah, that is that. And in the evening we tend to do like an hour walk as well, just for a bit more movement. Lois, what are the best ways to get calcium? It's really your leafy greens. Kale is particularly good. I think it's 150 milligrams per 100 grams. Calcium. I think if you're eating predominantly or preferably a totally whole foods plant-based diet, it's actually 250 milligrams per 100 grams of kale. So kale is one of the real top ones. Tomatoes are good, sweet potatoes, spinach, kidney beans, berries, oats, lentils, quinoa. So if you're just eating healthy food, if you're eating enough calories, it should be a non-issue, really. As you heard, like I had leaves there, fruit, sweet potatoes, beans, berries, grains, legumes. Yeah, it's a bit of a non-issue. Unless your diet is poor. Lois, which products have good fats beside nuts? Seeds are particularly good, particularly flax and chia seeds. They're skewed in favour of the anti-inflammatory omega-3. So I like to include 2 to 4 tablespoons of ground flax or chia daily. They do need to be ground. Other nuts and seeds with appreciable amounts of omega-3 are hemp seeds and walnuts, but they're skewed the other way. And most other nuts and seeds are high in omega-6. So you just need to eat these things in balance. So on the Chronometer app, plug everything in. Make sure your omega-6 is no more than 3 or 4 times your omega-3. Yeah, so nuts and seeds, avocados are good as well. That's your best choices, really. And there are fats. There are fats in a lot of things like oats. It's all good stuff. It's really like oils, particularly coconut, palm oil, pumpkin oil, cocoa butter, and animal products where the fats are harmful. Kitsune China. How are you doing? Morning to you. Oh, you got a taco there. Very nice. Shaggy. Bless you, Sen. Thank you. January, I was asking about fruit at night, for example. I was just at the beach a few nights ago for a long walk with friends. We all needed to eat. They gave me a bunch of crap for buying cherries and peaches because they were supposed to be bad at night. They went on and got vegan ice cream. There's nothing unhealthy about whole fruit. It's one of the healthiest things in the world. One year, the Global Burden of Disease study, according to their data, and they looked at hundreds of thousands of people, and they actually concluded the biggest thing that most people could do to extend their lives would be to eat more fruit. Ice cream with refined sugar, saturated fat, is never healthy at any time of day. It's contributing to heart disease, diabetes, like bowel cancers. Geniuses. What a bunch of geniuses. Laura is saying, have a great day, Paul. Off to work. Don't. You have a good day too, hun. Try to anyway. Thanks for hanging out. Vegan Bio, do you play any video games? No. I mean, I have got a really good computer. I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I just suddenly got really bored of it. And I've not played anything else. I'm not really drawn to it. It doesn't excite me so much as like creating content and trying to, move the vegan movement forwards. What hobbies do you have? Making YouTube videos. I work out. I sort of see that as a life necessity though. I think the only, I don't know if you'd call it hobby. One thing I do like to do is experiment with psychedelics, and that's kind of like inner work and like, just sort of spiritualism, I suppose. So that's the only thing that really kind of takes me off the sort of vegan YouTube, like, or influencing, like content creation sort of thing. But even that I see as a way to improve my character and to just be a better activist. So, but yeah, and it's a strange hobby because you can have an experience where it's like you're going through hell, but oftentimes those experiences are the ones you want, and what you resist persists. And rather than like trying to forget about past trauma and move away from it, you actually have to face it head on and deal with it in order to get past it. So yeah, my hobby is sometimes risking complete hell. January, I totally understand why you don't feel great about taste tests, but I think we need you to find and show better options because, as you said, a lot of what we see is really junky products. Really. Yeah, if there were more healthful products, I would certainly be into trying those out. Shaggy herd of elephants. Roasted nuts are not healthy compared to raw. That's very true. You get more advanced glycation end products, which are a gerontotoxin. They accelerate the aging process throughout all the different tissues in the body. Not even raw nuts, like, because they're high in protein and fat, they do have some degree of advanced glycation end products, but you get more the more you heat things. Demi, are you a fan of Earthling Ed and Joey Cobstrong? Yes, I've hung out with them both a bit. More with Joey. We kind of share a similar type of past, so we kind of get each other, I think. I love Earthling Ed's like work ethic and his eloquence, like the way he's non-egoic and can really like connect with even like farmers and people and keep his ego out of it. I really look up to him. Joey's so passionate and works so hard. Like, they are great men. Vegan Violet, I've taken my share of psychedelics, I know what you mean. Off to bed now, it's 4:30 in the States. Have a great day. You too, my friend. You too. 5 more minutes, guys, then I really better go, so get your comments or questions in. If you want to find out all about how to eat a vegan diet healthily, do check out my free e-guide, How to Eat Plant-Based Successfully. Link below. Download that for free. And then, like, if it's whet your appetite, maybe you want to really do a deep dive and find out as much as possible. So we've got our new course out as well. Link below for that video course with PDF. Our cookbooks are in there as well. It's like about 80 recipes, and it's everything I know about the science. It's everything Gemma knows about how to apply it. You know, where to source your ingredients, what appliances you need, how to make good food. So yeah, give that a little look if you want to, and that would be very cool. Any more questions before we go? Shaggy, is Earthling Ed vegan Jesus? Why, yes. Yes, he is. Eat plants. What about John V? John, he who shall not be named, formerly vegan. Oh no, I'm vegan again now. No, I'm not. Yes, I'm vegan. Oh no, I'm a hunter now. That guy? Yeah, I think he's great. Nelly, do you have a online fitness class? No, I'm just doing the YouTube thing now because that's where my passion is. Would love you to be my fitness coach and PT. Well, you're very kind. I'll tell you who is very good if you do want to get some coaching is Corinne Sutton over on Instagram. He's a great guy, vegan. KORINSUTTON. Corinne Sutton. You may have seen him in Veganville, the BBC show with Joey Carbstrong over there in Wales. Really knows his stuff. And again, for a bodybuilder, he's very whole foods based. He's the only other guy I'd really sort of recommend. Demi, can you tell us more about your course? Thanks for asking. What can I tell you about it? So it's 14 videos, 14 lessons. There's one on, what do you need to eat? How do you put meals together? How do you make sure you're getting how do you know how many calories, how much protein, carbs, fat? Where do you get your vitamins, your minerals? Just how to do it. It's basically empowering you to become your own nutritionist and make your own meals from whatever ingredients you can happen to get hold of. I don't like to be too prescriptive. I think it's better if you empower people to know everything for themselves. There's one module on how to build muscle, one module on how to burn fat. I'll tell you the easiest thing probably is if I actually just get it up and show you, then I've not got to rack my brains to trying to remember it. Click funnels, ultimate guide to plant-based nutrition. Come on, there we go. Edit page, and then preview. Boom. So full screen. There we go. So here he is. So yeah, it's all about optimizing your health and sports performance. So also including your looks in terms of muscle mass, fat loss. So there's a little promo video there, so you can check out. So if you want to check this out, you can go to plantbasedpower.co.uk, or there's a link below the video here if you want to watch the trailer through. But yeah, here's all the stuff you get. So it's online. It's not actually DVDs, but there's just illustrators. There's 14 videos. There's our 2 cookbooks. There's a PDF, which you can either download, you can print out, or you can just look on any device. And it shows you nutritional requirements by age and stage of life. Just lists of shopping list, appliances, what they do, what do you need for your personal reason. Just shows you what everything does, so what you might need and what you might, if you've got this appliance, you probably don't need this one. all stuff like, there's loads of stuff in there. I can't really, I remember there's just tons of different lists and charts and just advice, and some more recipes as well. So there's our story. There's what some people have been saying about the course. There's our books. Okay, so these I think are the modules. Why you can't afford to not eat. So the benefits of eating whole foods plant-based and why you really don't want to eat any other way. How to work out your calories and plan meals. Common pitfalls that prevent some from succeeding. Effortless fat loss without feeling deprived. Build muscle, even if you struggle with food volume, so how to get around that. Essential grocery guide. Health benefits of legumes and grains. Which fruits and vegetables you need to include. What fat sources are essential, how to balance them. Who should add tofu, tempeh or seitan to their diets and how to make them tasty. How to cook without oil. An essential guide to kitchen equipment, an example balanced day of eating to show how to easily model it. So you get like the nutrition breakdown as well, and just basically a day's worth of eating. How to stay on track while eating out, traveling, and then recipes, as I say. Give that a little look-see if you want to. So thanks for axing tiger nuts. Right, I really better go and lift some weights up and down with a view to muscular hypertrophy. Oh, we've had a super chat. Eat plants, you generous soul. $10 on the super chat with no question. You're just supporting your local neighbourhood vegan YouTuber out of the kindness of your heart. Thank you so much. I can't do this without you guys, and so as I always say, you'll never know how grateful I really, really am. Thank you so much. Thanks, moderators, for keeping us troll-free. Thanks for the super chats, keeping the beans on my toast, the walls from the door, and the cameras rolling. I'm back on tonight. What day is it? Thursday? I'll probably be on about 6 p.m. tonight for maybe an hour and a half. So I hope you can join me then. If not, I'm on tomorrow morning about 8 a.m. And I think that's all the things. Have a wonderful day, guys. And I hope to see you very soon. Bye for now. Cheers, guys.